protect your brand new vehicle on the inside and on the outside.
Hi, I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
And this is DIY Detail. Today we've got this brand new, and when I say brand new, it's only got 38.1 miles on it, Grand Cherokee 4xE.
Full-size hybrid SUV. This thing is sexy. I love it. It's got some interior bells and whistles I've never seen before.
Right. It has a Xbox screen, something like that.
The owner says he could connect his Xbox, and just above the glove box on the passenger side, there's a screen. He could actually play Xbox on that screen. He could connect it. So technology
hopefully
is
not
wild.
while he's driving. But anyways, we're going to be protecting the exterior of this with DIY Detail exterior ceramic. And on the inside, we're going to be using DIY Detail interior ceramic. Amazing how our names actually say what they are.
Somebody said recently, we just like how your brand has simple names, and Incredible Suds is what we're going to use. All Clean is an all-purpose cleaner that we're going to use. All this stuff is simple to use and it works.
Right, so first steps, it's brand new, it's off the dealer's lot yesterday, so it's not driven. The dealer did their PDI on it. And when the dealer
What's
does
PDI?
Pre-delivery inspection, which means they inspect it, but they also wash it. And when they washed it, well, they did a few things that go against putting a coating on. One of them was tire shine. There is tire shine sling or overspray all the way down the side, on the trim, on the door, everywhere. We have to get rid of that because anything that is on the paint is going to prevent the coating from doing its job. So we want a perfectly clean painted surface. How are we going to go about that?
We're going to pre-treat the whole vehicle with All Clean. We're going to let it dwell. We're going to let it break down a lot of this crud. It's just going to be our first, I say, battle in the war to get this thing totally cleaned up, ready and prepped for a coating.
Exactly. We'll be foaming it on the wheels, spraying it on the body, and that way we get good coverage. It's everywhere it needs to be. It's going to be doing its thing. From there, we're going to be washing with
Incredible Suds.
Exactly. We're going to be foaming it on, letting it dwell, and then we'll be using the Incredible Suds combined with the iron remover for another decontamination step with the clay towel.
Yeah, so the Incredible Suds is super slick to the touch, nice lubrication. Then you're going to get the iron remover and the clay towel there to remove all embedded contaminants. It's going to be super simple after that. Quick spray of panel prep and coat. Or, as we're going to do today, a quick polish, panel prep and coat.
Exactly. The polish step, if you're satisfied with the look of your paint, it's as clean as you want it, it's as scratch-free as you want it, you can panel prep and coat from there.
A lot of words here. You're probably wanting us to get to the action, but in case you just wanted to have an understanding, we wanted to give you a layout of where we're going to go before we go on the journey.
And for the interior, well, it's going to be a completely separate video.
Take a look at all the dirt running down the tire. That is All Clean working for you. I've got my tire brush here. We want to remove all of this tire shine because that sling was nasty. That's another pro tip, is you do not want to put tire shine on your vehicle after you've coated it. You want to give your coating a chance to cure. You do not want sling on a coated car for the first, I would say, 24 hours. So just so you know, guys, dealership tire shine, no good.
It gets everywhere and covers everything with a silicone-y, slimy mess. Now, some silicones are actually not bad, but cheap tire shine is cheap tire shine. We're going to be coating these wheel faces as well, so it's going in a clockwise manner, getting in all those nooks and crannies.
A little bit of All Clean in my wheel bucket just to help my cleaning process here. Hit the calipers. Again, a brand new vehicle here, so the wheels definitely not bad at all. Now, Ivan, when I pre-spray with All Clean, I typically don't hit the windows if I'm in direct sunlight.
Right, we're not in direct sunlight, we're in a heated environment, controlled, so I was able to put it on the windows. We're rinsing it off before it has time to dry.
Yeah, it's still wet on the
Exactly. So we're gonna be rinsing it off. We already see it working on this tire shine stuff that's all over it. It's going down in streaks, so we're good there. We're gonna be rinsing it off. Nick did a great job as always on the wheels, so we'll rinse those off, and from there, we'll do the Incredible Suds.
right, folks, gonna put some Incredible Suds in my wash bucket here. Ivan did a great job of pressure washing off all of that all clean on the paint. Ooh, you chose warm water. I like
Of course, yeah. It's
better
cold outside.
cleaning. Better cleaning capabilities.
A little bit, but also a lot more comfortable to use. In the summer, I like using cold water because it's nice and refreshing, but it's cold outside today. And when we put the suds in, we always like that shot of getting the foam to build up in there.
And that's why we chose these clear buckets.
Yeah.
This stuff is slicker than snot, guys. You're gonna love it. Incredible Suds in the foam cannon. 1 ounce is all you need. Lock it in. Stay balanced. Test on the ground. And foam away. So I've foamed the Incredible Suds on. It's continuing to work to clean for us. Because we've already all cleaned and pressure washed, we're reducing any scratch risk by doing that first. Now we can do the contact wash, and after that you're gonna do your thing. So you can talk about that while I start to wash.
Right, so Nick is gonna do the contact wash. I'm letting our perforated clay towel soak the Incredible Suds in a little bit here. Oh, and that water is nice and warm. From there, we'll be using iron remover and the Incredible Suds as lubrication to really deep clean and decontaminate the paint.
This is so slick when you use Incredible Suds. I'm telling you guys. It's so much fun.
Now, as we do in these videos, you're only seeing us doing half the Jeep because we only have a limited number of cameras, and plus, it'd be boring for you to watch the whole thing. So now that Nick has the front end washed, I'm gonna be using our perforated clay towel folded in 4, which just happens to be the right size for my hand, and at the same time, it reduces the possibility of pressure points. A bit of iron remover. On the panel, not much, and on the towel. And off we go. Now sometimes a new vehicle has more iron contamination than you could possibly even imagine, because they're shipped by rail, and sometimes that rail shipment does a lot of weird and wonderful things. Those trains, the brakes on them, definitely put out a lot of iron particles. I'm also going to be claying the trim, the glass, everything.
And with iron remover, even after you've clayed, you don't have to spray it off right away. As long as it's not drying on you, let it dwell, let it continue to break things down on the paint for you. The great thing about our iron remover is you don't need a lot of it. You just need the clay towel, a couple of sprays on there, and if you've got the Incredible Suds still wet on the paint, it'll just suds right up. You're gonna get a lot of bang for your buck.
And we see immediately what it's taking off the vehicle, the redness there.
Washing a new car, Ivan, is so much fun. It's easy.
It's easy, there's not a lot of dirt. Like we say, this one only has 38.1 miles on it, so not a lot. And the owner was kind enough to let us 2 newbies work on it. So.
We promised him that we've done this once or twice before.
Yeah, a little more than that, but anyways. Now I'm gonna be using iron remover and the clay towel on the wheels as well. Just to make sure they're perfectly clean, ready to accept the coating. Now we're drying this off without a drying aid. Why are we not using a drying aid, Nick?
Because the drying aid that we carry, at least ceramic gloss or quick bead, it's gonna have some protection in it. And we are going for this paint to be squeaky clean. We are going to polish to remove whatever is possibly left behind and give it sort of that showroom shine. And so we do not want to introduce any other possible chemicals that are going to bond to the clear coat. The idea is the pores of that clear coat should be completely empty, clean, to be receptive for our ceramic coating.
Right, and any type of marring that we might introduce from the drying towel, which is very minimal, is going to be removed by the light polishing we're going to be doing.
If you're ever going to be a little more casual or careless in your wash process, if you're going to be polishing the paint after, I would never encourage you to do things the wrong way, but if you're a little sloppy, you're going to be polishing the paint after, probably not the end of the world.
Right.
Every detailer's favorite way to dry the hood. Grab a drying blanket and sweep it ever so
Eloquently across the hood.
for dramatic effect.
Yes.
It does dry quite well. One pass is all you need.
Now when a vehicle is new like this, it's actually fun to clean the door jambs and coat them as well. It's just going to make future cleaning so much easier.
You're gonna love having coated door jambs, I promise. Gotta put the drip catcher on there, catch some of these annoying drips. You don't want those interfering as you're polishing and the drips come down. That can be quite annoying as well.
And that mirror is dripping a lot as well.
Some call the drip catcher a gimmick. I call it one tool to meet the moment, and it can help.
Now, if you paid to have rust proofing on your vehicle, you may not want to be doing the door jambs because there's going to be rust proofing in there.
We're washed, we're clayed, we're decontaminated, we're ready to coat, really. We just need a little panel prep.
Right, well, we're actually going to be giving this a light polish. It's going to amp up the gloss a little bit, and it's a deep cleaning. So we're looking at the polish because we looked at the paint. It looks spectacular.
That's what I meant, is you can go with the polish route, but honestly, this paint is so pristine and white shows so little that it's pretty ready, but like a slight polish will remove everything else.
Right, so we're going to do a very quick polish. We're actually going to do this in accelerated, so in time lapse. That's the word I'm looking for. We're going to be doing this in a time lapse, but you'll see us polishing the whole side of this truck. It's going to be a quick, easy polish, and we're going to show you a way of doing it to people that is really quick.
And we're going to be using the standard edgeless towel to buff off the polish right behind Ivan.
Right. This is our polishing pad. It's slightly damp. I've dampened it. And really fun, easy to use. We have our gold standard polish, which hopefully by the time this video airs will be available. We're hoping. Actually, the polish we have, we're just waiting on labels. And for the pad, well, we're waiting on the manufacturer for the pads. Fun thing about this, as it's turning, one spray is all you need. You don't need multiple sprays of polish. So one spray for one section. So we let it spin at a slow speed and spray the polish on.
And we're gonna put a link above where Ivan explains how to use a dual action sander from your garage to polish. It's super easy. A lot of people watch this video, so if you haven't seen it yet, that's a quick primer.
And off we go, time lapse. Now Nick, if you're a professional detailer, you need a pad washer. For the do-it-yourselfer, a microfiber towel will help keep your pad clean. So once in a while as you're polishing, we run it against the microfiber towel, it takes the excess off, and we can continue on.
Any particular towel that's working better for you?
A nice short nap microfiber towel.
Okay. So we're polished, we're prepped, prepped, we're ready to coat.
Exactly. And we have the DIY Details ceramic coating. Now, inside the box, we have not only a bottle, but instructions.
Very clear, very easy to read in case you didn't watch this video. Very, very easy right here.
Yeah, and like every other DIY detailing product, we have the QR code. It's gonna bring you to the SDS sheet. It's also gonna bring you to the playlist on ceramic coatings.
On how to do it.
Exactly. So, let's put the box away, and there you go, sir. We can start with the fender and work our way around the vehicle. You always want to do it in an order, and if you're two people working together, it simplifies it a little bit.
Two nice little X there, little haphazard.
So in the beginning, he's putting a lot on the applicator. We're just trying to get the applicator well primed. Then after that, it'll be a couple drops per panel.
So I like to box my area and then do circular motions. How do you feel about that technique, Adam?
That is excellent. And the reason we're doing that is circular motions have no starting and stopping, so less chance of having a high spot, and especially on a white vehicle. White vehicle is probably the most difficult color to do a ceramic coating on because you don't see what you're doing, unfortunately. So you have to rely on your being methodical and your experience to do it. Now, if you haven't had experience applying a coating, it's not a big deal. This coating is easy to apply. We let it go, and we can see it sort of looks like an oil slick on water. When it starts going back to clear, which will be 30 seconds to a minute, then we simply take a short nap microfiber towel and level the surface. We're not removing the coating. After doing the whole vehicle, our towel should not be wet. And once we level it, we're good to go.
Yeah, you might run into some trim. I just want to mention this.
Yeah.
You might want to do trim as you go. I let you decide, or you can decide how you want to do it. Typically, as a pro, I kind of go back after I'm done and my applicator is just fully primed and full of coating and I don't want to waste it. And I'll try to squeeze as much of that I've already done on my finesse, on my paint. And then I'll try to get all the trim and the front grille. And once I'm getting a little bit sloppier, I can kind of grind into the trim a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not paint. I'm not worried about scratching anything.
Exactly. And at this point, it's time for me to level this off.
How does it feel?
Super slick.
Yeah, this is definitely going to darken your trim. And so obviously coating safe on every exterior surface. Use it on your trim, but like I said, it's just something I like to do at the end, is to go over that trim as sort of my final reward after a job well done.
And for myself, the person wiping it off, I want to go past where I know he's applied, just to make sure that if he did go onto the next panel, I'm not going to be leaving a high spot behind. And the slickness is amazing. You can feel it under the towel. The towel is grabbing here on the hood, but on the fender is just sliding along.
How many drops do you like to do once you've primed for your next panel?
Once I've primed, 3 or 4 drops.
I did about 8.
Okay.
As I'm wont to do. Is that all right? Is that a saying?
Yeah.
I always use more than I'm supposed to, is what I'm telling you, Ivan. How do we feel about that?
Yeah, well, that's you.
That's the way.
And you want to make sure you're getting inside that door handle like Nick did, because that's an area that gets a lot of wear and tear.
And you'd be surprised, you may not think you have coating left on your applicator, but absolutely you do. What I like to do when I'm doing a ceramic coating, and you don't have to get down on your back, I just like to look at it from all angles. That way you're gonna absolutely be able to see what's going on. Coatings can be a little tricky with lighting, and I often find angling with light, bouncing it off this way, gives you a really good sense of where you've been and where you might have missed.
And while you're wiping it off, you can actually feel it in the towel, whether you've missed a spot or not.
Yeah, which is something you sort of have to experience in the moment as opposed to us telling you about it.
Exactly. Continue on.
All right. I am gonna get this piano trim, if that's okay with you.
That is great. And that's another great tip, Nick. When you're working as a team, even though you're used to doing this together, et cetera, always announce what parts you're doing. So the person that's wiping off knows that you've done it.
Yeah, because oftentimes you'll get in a groove and you'll have to ask the person, and it just, communication, man, it goes a long way.
Yeah.
So I'm just getting this door here. Do you want me to get above the windows or just continue on?
Whatever floats your boat, sir.
All right, well, I'm just, communicating, right?
Yep.
And it looks like I'm putting pressure on it. I'm actually doing no pressure. Just circles with no pressure at all.
Exactly. The applicator sponge is not being compressed in any way. Now, when he's going around the door handle, there's a bit of pressure there, obviously, but just to conform the foam around that handle.
I'm gonna do the piano trim after I do that door, Ivan.
Yeah.
We can do this pillar at the end.
Yeah, very good. Now, what I'm looking for here is actually the coating, the way it reacts. Now, Nick, in some areas, put it on rather thick, like up here, and it actually looks like the coating is sweating, which is a weird little phenomenon. But when you have a little too much on, it beads on itself. So that's what's happening there.
That's Nick did too much coating.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, I've hit the piano trim.
Good.
And I got this back piano trim here.
After that, with the mirror, we'll have this whole side of the Jeep done.
Absolutely. And it's already looking phenomenal. Usually this feels a little bit too much real estate to be trying to cover with coating, but when you got a team working together, it's pretty easy and simple to do. Because Ivan's watching me, he knows what I've done. I'm also gonna hit this trim above the windows, Ivan.
Yep, very good.
Just in case I didn't get that before.
And you didn't do this back bumper.
Didn't do it, you can feel it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. If you have any curiosity about whether the coating is working, simply put your fingers on that towel, run your hand over the paint, and it's pretty obvious.
Now, Nick, what's a high spot?
And a high spot is something very visual that after you've coated the car, you're gonna wonder what that is. And the best part about a high spot with this coating is if it happens to you, you have a fair amount of time to apply a little bit more coating on your applicator. Go over that high spot, which essentially just looks like coating that doesn't blend in with the rest of the paint. Put a little coating on your applicator, rub it in, and instead of letting it sit like we've been doing, you just blend it in, rub it off right away.
Exactly. Now, a high spot is it looks like you just left more coating on, and that's exactly what it is. It's just additional coating. Now, worst case scenario, you can take the polish and polish off that high spot by hand with a microfiber towel.
We actually didn't do the windows here, did we? I like to do windows last, but I'll do the mirror here.
Yeah, exactly.
I love how smooth paint feels after you've coated it.
Oh, it is so much fun.
And if you spent the kind of money the owner did on this, you want your vehicle ceramic coated.